Welcome back to your weekly roundup of everything that happened in Zenless Zone 0, where we will cover everything that you missed inside and outside of the game. We are now already in March. 2 months gone just like that. Can you believe it? But starting off with in-game news, as always, since it is a new month, that also means that the monthly shops have refreshed. So if you haven't already, be sure to buy out the discounted pulls from the Signal shop, as well as anything else that you might need from Scout Outpost. So that'd be the pulls, the calibrators, and the potential archives for the upgrades of your agents. But obviously, the main thing to keep an eye out for is Phase 2 of the patch starting on the 4th. So that means that you have just a few days left of the current banners to try and pull for both Suna and Yi Shen. But after that though, the banners will then switch over to the brand new Aria as well as the rerun for Yuzuha, with the featured A ranks being Anton and Seth. That isn't the only thing happening on that day though, because starting on the 4th will be the start of a new login event, the Enna Cheer Squad Gift, where you can get 10 Boopons in total for logging in across a total of 7 days. And also on the same day will be the Gravitational Storytime event, where it is the movie watching event with some new agents and NPCs that you can take out on a date with. I will say though, it might be a weird time to bring it up since it's sort of become the new norm now, but I do personally kind of miss when the second half agent released with their own little agent story too. I know that they have started doing the thing where they incorporate both the new agents into the patch's main story, but I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I quite liked those separate side stories that sometimes weren't too closely tied to the big bad evil plot unfolding in the main story, and they didn't have to get involved about with, the creator and whatnot, and sometimes it's just a day in the life of said agent. But hey, maybe that's just me. I don't know if I'm the only one thinking that though. But otherwise, on Friday, it will be our regularly scheduled Shiyu defense reset. This time around, the first buff will increase agent physical damage and electric damage by 15%, while also increasing all crit damage by 20%. But furthermore, when an attack type agent lands a critical hit on an enemy, the enemy defense is reduced by 10% for 5 seconds. So in other words, this is the Yeisheng Wang stage. The second stage's buff will increase agent shear damage by 10%, and while in Ether Veil, agent shear damage will further increase by another 15%, and attacks will ignore 15% of the enemy's damage resistances. So basically, this is the Rupture team stage, probably with Yi Shen. And then the third stage buff will increase agent ether damage by 20%, and while in Ether Veil, agent's attack will increase by another 30%, and attacks will ignore 10% of the enemy ether damage resistance. This ether damage and the Ether Veil buff will of course be emphasizing the usage of Aria being the hot new ether anomaly agent on the block. So, if you do need some carrots to help you get Aria and her engine, or Yuzuha too, you're not gonna believe what I'm about to suggest to you. If you would like to top up on some polychromes yourselves, why not try using LD Shop? Especially considering you can get top-up options cheaper through LD Shop than you would in-game, with discounts of up to nearly 22% for new users. For example, purchasing an internet membership through LD Shop costs only $3.87 compared to the $5 if you were to purchase it in-game. And topping up is really easy. All you need is your in-game user ID and your server. Once you fill those in, you can click on top up, choose your payment method, and within seconds your order is completed and you can see the rewards in-game. And yes, you can even get the double bonus for first-time top-ups. LD Shop is a trusted and authorized service that is 100% safe and legitimate. Also, if you use my link in the description when you register on LD Shop, you will also get a 5% off coupon to use. And if you spend over $80, you will also gain a VIP membership, which can earn you free internet memberships and regular coupons. Once again, you can check out the description and the pinned comment to start saving with LD Shop. Moving on to social media news though, as mentioned, since it is a new month of March, that means a new free wallpaper. This time of course featuring Aria. As always, there is both a desktop and a mobile version of this wallpaper to download using the link in the description below. Otherwise, to hype up the release of Aria, there is also the Aria character demo that has been released. But more importantly, this Friday on the 6th is that Angels of Delusion livestream that was mentioned during the patch livestream and also is shown off in the events tab in-game. Right now, clicking on more info in the game will take you to the official Angels of Delusion Twitter page, so I'm not sure if this special livestream will be a Twitter space, or maybe they will announce more details on their Twitter page for a livestream to be held on their official YouTube channel. I'm going to assume though that whatever this is, it will be a scripted and pre-recorded stream, much like the patch live streams, which are just video premieres. Personally, I would love to see if this is a case of the voice actors acting as like VTubers of the Angels of Delusion and actually doing a real live stream as their characters in person or in character, I guess, rather, since they seemingly did have models in the patch livestream for them. And the thought of treating these as actual VTubers might not be that far-fetched, because in the March edition for VTuber Style, a Japanese magazine, Aria is on the cover page, and there is even an interview with quote-unquote Aria herself, assumingly the VTuber persona of Aria, or the in-character persona of Aria. But speaking of stuff happening over in Japan, such as the VTuber Style magazine, next week is the Zenless Live in Japan, happening on March 9th and March 10th. And so, leading up to this event, the online store to buy some of the Angels of Delusion merch has gone up. This merch includes little plushies, acrylic stands, a shirt, as well as some glow sticks too. And worldwide shipping from this site is available. So if you would like to purchase any of the official goods, you can check the link to the store in the description below. Of course, don't forget though that there will also be a similar event happening in the West later this month in New York. And there is a chance that a similar storefront could be set up in English closer to that event. Although, odds are that you would probably still pay the similar prices and the similar shipping amounts whether you order now using the Japanese site or the potential English shop that might or might not release later this month closer to the Western live show. And then last but not least, moving on to the speculation zone, a while back I mentioned that we can expect to see a hot pot style event coming in patch 2.7, and alongside that event would be a new free W engine, or engine if you will. Well, we now know that the engine is called the Simmering Pot, an A rank stun engine, which has impact percent as its main stat, and for its effect, after performing an assist follow-up attack, the equipper's days and damage is increased. The amount will increase based on the refinement level. Of course, this being a free engine, it's not exactly the greatest thing. Having the effect be reliant on an assist follow-up attack is not ideal, because majority of the time you probably want to assist follow-up into your main DPS instead. But hey, at least the engine looks kinda cool, I guess. It'll make a fine addition to the shelves in Phaethon's room. Otherwise, in patch 2.7, we've also got some rumors for who the rerun banners will be, and that is going to be Orphe and Lucia. Presumably in that order as well, with Orphe first and then Lucia second. So you can use this information about the Orphe and Lucia rerun to help inform you whether or not you should be pulling or saving for the last few days of the current banner, as well as the Phase 2 banner as well. Who knows, maybe you were on the fence about getting Yi Shen, but now that you know that you can get both Yi Shen and then Lucia, one of her better supports in the next patch, maybe that might be an option for you now. Of course, this makes yet another month where we do not see a Harumasa rerun, but I suppose it does make sense. Again, they don't want to overlap Cisia, who is already an attack electric agent. And then the Lucia rerun is a bit of an interesting one, because I guess you would be pulling for her if you already got Yi Shen on the previous patch and then you missed her. Otherwise, it does feel like we are slowly moving away further from the whole Rupture scene, especially with how we are getting the new Cisia being an attacker, and then of course with Ye Xingwang, the newest Void Hunter, also being an attacker. Maybe this is just a case of them getting Lucia out now while they still can, while Rupture is still somewhat relevant at least, before it all becomes related to attack and anomaly stuff instead. And then the last thing for patch 2.7 is that we have a new unnamed character that has been found in the data mines. Although we don't have any name for this person yet, I would like to draw your attention to her chest region. Trust me, there's a valid reason. Because the gold trim around her shirt leading up to that ring in the middle kinda looks like a pair of hands, doesn't it? And I mean, we know that some of the character design is very on the nose when it comes to motifs and whatnot, i.e. Trigger having a bunch of triggers around them. So this person having hands on their dress might make them a part of a hand, who knows? Otherwise, people are also thinking and theorizing that she could be the NPC in charge of the Hot Pot shop, which the event will revolve around in patch 2.7. But what do you think though? And more importantly, do you think there's a world where she is not an NPC but actually somehow going to end up as a playable character? Zenless Zone Zero has a good track record of making NPC characters that look arguably just as good, if not better, than some actual playable characters, and then making us all mad that they are NPCs and we can't play them. But who knows? Maybe she can be a part of Hand, and then she completes the trio of characters revisiting the more orderly faction of Neps and Hand, alongside of course Cisia and Seth's brother. But otherwise, if you made it to the end of the video though, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, liking, commenting and subscribing is greatly appreciated. Like I said, let me know, do you miss those second half agent stories in the patch? And what do you think about this new unnamed character? Let me know down in the comments below, and until next time, bye bye!